Gurur Gurur Vishnu, Gururevo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Asato ma satgamaya, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So welcome again for another good gossip. If it helps to change our lives, whether you say it is a talk or a gossip, it should not be a preaching. The preaching takes place in religion, so we are not a religious group. So, I believe you might have heard and listened about where the intellect is sitting. We also covered the psychology of desires in the second chapter of Gita. 8 factors of that causes the distraction in life. And in the second chapter, we also discovered where the intellect is sitting, if it is sitting outside, in anything that is changing. Person changing, event changing, place, objects, people. The house in which I'm living during the last almost 61, 62 years, this is my 9th house. House changes. So if the house changes, it means they are the guest house. That's not my house. Use that way. Otherwise, you get attached. So then the intellect is sitting in the house. So we understood if the intellect is sitting on the real self, that is unchanging identity within us, the life transforms. So in the second chapter, too much emphasis was given on the knowledge part, on the refinement of intellect, on shining of the intellect. Let this intellect sit in the real self, then do thy work, so you will be happy. So Krishna, the personification of the God and the originator of the Eastern wisdom, he talks in 5th or 6th chapter that I passed on this knowledge to Ichwaku. Then he said he passed on that knowledge to the man. He's saying to the seeker. So when he passed on the knowledge to the first teacher, first seeker, so seeker is saying that, come on, what you are talking about? He lived 2000 years ago and now you are present before me, you are 89 years old. This message, this teaching was done when the Krishna was almost 89 years old and his student Arjuna was around 86 years old. Oh, let me live a retired life. I saved money. I did not save money at that age. We start thinking of retirement at the age of 65. Something like this, age of 65. You might be getting a lot of emails. How to retire peacefully. Come on, how to live peacefully here and now. That will make your life live in peace and at the time of retirement. The message of the Gita is 100% clear. So seeker says, seeker says, how you lived for 2000 years? Come on. Are you duping me? Are you doing some kind of a scam that you are claiming that you. So, this is the problem of a seeker. Because a seeker realizes through the misconception, pay attention, through the misconception that the teacher and me are different. How? Because I have this body, I am the body, he is also the body, he is living is 89 years, I am living 86 years. But Krishna is teaching, the teacher teaches that our real identity is the real self, is the pure consciousness that is beyond time and the space and the location and the age. That is the perspective, that is the perception. Teacher perceives then that the teacher and the students are essentially one. The seeker and the student perceives that we are different. So same way, the seeker Arjuna says, you have confused me. Why you have confused me? You talked about the knowledge. Intellect should be settled in the real self, and then all your problems. What about action? What should I do? So it is a better, if I'm in stress, let me keep lying down on the bed, think of the knowledge. Will that work? This is what Arjuna, the seeker, is asking. Sometimes we have those feelings. Okay, I have done a lot. Every time I meet with the failures, what is the fun of doing? Retire into a dark room, live in anxiety and the stress. That is what happens to us. You see that? So it's a confusion. So the third chapter is all about karma yoga. Krishna says, you are a confused guy. When I praised, taught you the path of knowledge, I did not mean that you should avoid karma action. So normally the Eastern wisdom has two main streams: path of knowledge, path of action. The moment you say path of action, it includes Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, meditation, etc., etc. And when you say the path of knowledge, it means remove the misconception, remove your ignorance. Are they two separate? Answer is no. Normally, in Gita, we have discussed, the master discusses the three paths: the path of knowledge, the path of action, and the path of emotion, path of love. First thing to understand clearly, you may be intellectual highly, you want a logic to understand all the principles. So the path of knowledge will be the main path you follow. Plus, path of action means the practice should follow, and the balance of your emotion. That is what is to be understood. So you are not exclusively follow the path of knowledge. It is dominant. In my life, the path of knowledge in the beginning, the path of action was dominant. I used to do headstand pose. I told you, my master said, okay, go on doing it. I was so much obsessed. I did it for 2 years. And after 2 years, master asked me, did anything happen? I said, what do you mean? You told me to practice. He said no. You were obsessed with it. So why should I interfere in your obsession? Virtually, I wanted to tell Master, are you crazy? You should have told me before. You should not have listened to me. I was waiting for you to become a seeker, to remove the misconception. And then I focused only on six postures, which are more meditative in nature. Later on, as the life moved on, I picked up 3 and 4 postures. And still, normally 3 to 4 times a week, every posture I do for minimum for 10 to 15 minutes. Like, you see Prashimothanasana. Do you remember Prashimothanasana? Yes, John. What is that asana is known as in English? I'm weak in English, so that you should.
Prashimothanasana. We just say it wrong.
Yeah. Prashimothanasana.
Forward fold.
And then there is another asana that I do. I bring both the heels and the toes together, and both the heels are touching the perineum, and then I move forward. So in traditional, it is known as Gorakshasana. So that keeps and then I do all these 4 postures, minimum 10 minutes each. Totally stable, steadiness. But ultimately come to the Padmasana. Padmasana is my favorite. I can sit in Padmasana for around 3 to 4 hours without any disturbances. So you see that the path, what is the message here by telling this story? The knowledge is required to perform right action. So now we are integrating the path of the knowledge with the path of action. So ultimately, then Master says, I also did it, for 5-6 years, and I was doing all the postures and nothing happened. So that is what I wanted to tell you. But now you have come to understand. So then he said, no, just focus on meditative asanas if you want to evolve yourself, or pick up the postures depending on your physical well-being, but use them anyhow. So first part is to understand that the knowledge must be there behind every action. If the knowledge is right, action will definitely bring the right result. So no confusion. So Master is saying, why you are confused? I did not say that if you understand the path of knowledge, you should not do any action. No, you should be doing action. Then the Master teases the student. Can you avoid action completely? Life is action, action is life. The moment you wake up until you retire to the bed, even going to sleep is also an action. Do you see that? Going to sleep is also, life is action. How can you avoid action? What you are talking about? Why you are confused? You are listening to me, that is also an action. So now he makes us understand it is the thought, the speech, and the physical action. So whether I think, it is an action. Whether I speak, it is an action. Whether I love or hate, it is an action. Or whether I perform an activity through the body, life is action, action is life. So he says, understand, you cannot leave all the action in your life. The moment you leave all the actions, you are just equal to a dead person. So he says, now, understand. There are 3 words you should, I think I talked about it, but beautiful principle. It says, Janati is a first word, Ichhati, second word, Karoti, third word. Janati means to know it. When I know something, then only I have a desire. When I have a desire, that prompts me to act. So, what he is saying, without knowledge, you cannot perform any action. And if you have a right knowledge, if you have a right desire, you perform an action. Every action leads you to evolve yourself. Even talking to your honey, that is also an action. Do you see that? Do you talk to your honey with the right knowledge and the right desire? No, you don't love me. So I have decided to fill in the blanks. That is very common in our country. You don't listen to me. Hence, I have decided to fill in the blanks. That is not Karma Yoga. My master used to say, if only one person gets awakened, my job is done. Are you getting it? My master used to say that if I awaken a single person out of the entire herd, my job is done. I don't need 1 million likes or dislikes. The crux of Karma Yoga. Coming back, remember all this principle. Without the right knowledge or without the wrong knowledge, I cannot have a desire. If I don't have a desire, desire prompts me to action. So how they are related, you see? Knowledge, desire, then action. If you don't have a desire, why should you perform an action? Why should you act? But do you have a right desire? How the right desire comes? Right desire comes from the right knowledge. Body, act. Mind, desire. Intellect, knowledge. Learn the secret of Karma Yoga. In a simple sentence, intellect has a right knowledge, right? Right knowledge. You are clear, convinced, doubt free, bypass the mind, act. Finished. You are spontaneous. You bypass the mind, then what happens? You bypass the law of karma. You simply bypass the law of karma. No way you are suffering. That is what we are going to discuss in detail in the chapter 2. Karma, action, buddhi, or second chapter was Jnana Yoga, path of the knowledge. So, did you understand? Think of it. When you bypass the mind, knowledge and the action go together. You always enjoy. You have a joy in your life. But the mind comes in between with its impurities, with its demand, with its likes and dislikes, with its hate and jealousy, and the 5 causes of suffering that we just studied in the Yoga Sutra. Mind says, if I say this or no, I love you, how can I say I love you? When I think that, how can I say I'm ready to fall into consciousness? This is purely attachment. This comes from the mind. I don't have a right knowledge. It is not supported by right knowledge. It is going to make you fall in consciousness. I'm giving an introduction, and then we will another introductory part, that every action has two main components. They are motivation, desire fulfillment, and second is ego. I achieved this. You see, I love you. You hate me. Come on. Every action has two components, or you can say has two main motivation. First is the desire fulfillment. Second is the ego, that I have done it. I am the doer. Now, what happens? Desire fulfillment keeps the mind outside, seeking pleasure in it. Ego is created in the intellect for desire fulfillment. So, ego overlaps the right knowledge, and you are entering into the problem of law of karma. What is law of karma? Cause and effect relationship will continue. What is that cause of effect in relationship? I love you. So you also respond me that I love you. We both fall into consciousness. We enter into an attachment. We are seeking pleasure from each other. And the pleasure, one day you say, no, now I don't love you. So I get frustrated. I again create a cause and effect relationship, impressions, and five causes of the suffering, klesha, five causes of suffering, karma. I'm continuously doing karma. Recently, a couple from India couple there from the husband side, the boy's side, the boy's older brother visited their house. Older brother and his wife. His wife started criticizing the younger brother, means that couple. No, I have seen this guy when he was in teen. He was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And his wife got upset. They reacted. They fought. They said what to do. He said, "You tell me what to do. First, tell me, did you do something wrong or right?" No, I did something wrong. Now we had a strained relationship. You see that if you had a right knowledge, you had a right desire, you could not have created a series of actions. Are you understanding that point? You should not have created a series of actions. Law of cause and effect, not many karmas. So I explained to them what should you do. Now we realize, first step, can anyone give you a certificate that you are crazy, bad, or good? No one. You know yourself. Why should worry? Why to worry? First part, right knowledge. Did you understand that? Yes. Then how to make the corrective step? So I said you should go to their house or invite them again. If they don't come, talk to their phone. And only one word: I'm extremely sorry. I did the wrong thing. You are good. You said everything right. I said, first you do this. This is what we say, repenting karma. Consciously, you do it consciously. They did it. They did it. But they both did it. And ultimately they went to their house. They were invited and they said they were quite happy. And no, you see that it took such a long series for 3 to 4 weeks to correct one wrong karma, because it was performed with an intent of the ego. See, ego, two main components. It just happened last month. Now they both are happy. I'm also happy. You are paying me. so, so- but you are caught in law of cause and effect. Don't do anything like this. So means Every karma has to be supported by the right knowledge, right understanding. You see that? Right awareness. You should not fall into consciousness. Fall into consciousness means the mind will cause the impurities. How dare you say my husband is so crazy? But he might have been crazy in his teen. He became your husband at this just a year ago. No, my mind blocks me. Why it blocks me? Because of attachment. Do you see that? I can give you hundreds of real life examples that happens uh, with my students who claim that I'm their teacher. I don't claim so. So now now when you change the motivation, it dissolves the ego, it dissolves the wrong notion based on the desire, and then you are left with focus on the karma, do the right karma, you bypass the law of karma. Okay, that is okay. I'm summarizing and giving you the tips, and then we will pick up verse by verse, the main couple of verses. Then there is a question comes. Okay, that is a particular event that you explained where I felt bad and I realized I repented and I corrected my mistake. But how to do the karma in my daily life? Every action. So the master has a clarity, nitya and the namitya karma. Two words he uses. Nitya karma, duty and responsibility. I must perform the karma which comes under duty and the responsibility to myself and my family and to the society and the nation and the earth as a whole. You stick to this. It will not create a ripples of impressions in your mind about the karma. You live your life fully. That is the summary of it. You're a husband or wife, play your role of relationship by doing the best, rejecting any ego and the desire fulfillment. You have done your duty. Do your duty to the society. You're driving your car, you bought a beautiful car, GT, and now you're speeding up. You're not doing your duty. You're not doing your duty to the society. I should follow the rules. I followed the rules almost. My friends in India said, "Oh, their cops are very tough in US." I said, "Why they are tough? They are my friends. Why? I follow the rules. Duty. Duty. Understand one more point, and then we'll discuss. We'll go to the. If I perform my duty, I don't get any reward. It does not boost my ego. It has been now 15, 16, 17 years in US, and now I did not get a single ticket. I got only a ticket once during the rain, and I fought in the court. Fine was $119. So the lady judge was favorable to me. She said you have to pay a court fees of $19, and on it, $100 was admonished. That was the one incident. I proved that the cop is wrong. So many Indian friends, oh, no, 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 why you're going to do? I said, why shouldn't I? Why should I have a fear? The lady just asked me that what you do. I said, I put this into order. I pointed out. I put this into order. What do you mean? I said, I put the head into order, head and the mind of different people. Oh, you're a counselor? I did not want to say. Okay, you said this. She started laughing and ultimately she said, okay, I cannot admonish $19. Huh? Antoinette, you might be aware of that. Court fees cannot be rejected. You do your work fearlessly, free from insecurities. It is the mind. The mind causes this. So again, I'm saying, you are driving your car within the speed limit, you don't get any reward. It does not boost your ego. But the moment you break it, you are bound to be punished. Do you see that? In every action. So when you perform your duty, duty means what? It is mandatory on me. I have to perform. What is my role to my honey? What is my role to the son? What is my role to the daughter? What is my role to the society? What is my role to the world entirely? You perform your duty, you will not get any reward. That will drop your ego, crush your ego. But the moment you break the rule anywhere, you are punished. Ego will rise up, and then you will try to maintain, follow a different route. Simple message is very clear and loud, but we have to understand all the implications, the deeper aspect of it. That is what the karma yoga is. Be very clear. If you are performing your role, your duty, your responsibility every day, every moment, you need not to worry. Law of karma, cause and effect relationship, will not take over you. You are free. You will live in peace and happiness. We are going little deeper. So it means what? We are integrating the knowledge, the wisdom in the intellect, the pure mind inside, and now let the action come out. Action come out. So now let us go to, I have already told you that in the first verse and the second verse, master, the seeker is saying, what you are saying, tell me clearly. I'm confused. Whether should I dedicate myself to the knowledge or should I dedicate myself to the to the to the karma, only to the action? So I will just bring the verse to your chat message so that you understand. This is the question he asks. Why you confuse me? Why confuse? Ask the seeker to the master. It is the second verse. I want to be clear. Which one is better and greater, karma or the knowledge? I have already answered you. Unique teaching of the Eastern wisdom. Teacher never says, I'm deciding for you. That is what is very important. Have I told you, do this practice? I didn't say. I left a choice to you. The teachers in the Eastern wisdom, they never say you that I will decide for you what to do. I will explain all the concepts clearly, and then you have to choose independently. We don't make a decision, but we make the things very clear. The more clear you are, the greater the clarity. Means the intellect have a right knowledge. Now see the next one. Based on what I have, we have just understood. That is the another verse, the verse number third. The verse number third, Master says that this Eastern wisdom mainly has two streams. One is the path of knowledge, the other is the path of action. That includes yoga, hatha yoga, raj yoga, tantra yoga, mantra yoga, kundalini yoga, add all yoga. There are 80 kinds of yoga explained in our different text. So the master is saying the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom explains twofold path. First understanding. Two path, knowledge and the karma. We cannot ignore any action. Life is action, action is life. But are we animals? No, we have an intellect. We cannot ignore the knowledge. So knowledge plus action. Knowledge inside, action outside. Law, karma yoga. Not having knowledge and doing action, not doing action, having knowledge. Both leads to problem. Do you think of it? Why not unite them together? Why not integrate them together? And then what happens? Go to the third one. I name it misconceptions, wrong notion about karma, about knowledge. So now the master is teasing. Can you remain? Can you bring an end to all the actions in your life? Not possible. Not possible. And the moment as a human being, you wake up, you know it is your home. You know it is your honey. You know the things. You cannot avoid anyone. You cannot renounce and reject action. You cannot reject the knowledge. Do you understand that? Now see, pick up one point. Actionless state is meditation. That is what we do. We close our eyes, move the mind inside. We sit in the state of the nothingness. That is actionless state. Can you live in that state 24/7? No. We have to return. We have to allow that meditative state to be expressed in action. Now the mind is calm, relaxed. It is fully aware. It has removed the wrong notion. Now you restart. You reset your life. You know, we had a reset button between US and Russia. So you reset button. So they start again asking each other that how much lethal weapons should be, should not be used or should be dropped. Same thing, you reset button. Now you are not going to use your wrong notion, false notion in living your life. Clear? Let us go to another. So once we find a deeper principle, then I will go on explaining. So now, again, master is stressing. Master is stressing, and there he introducing a very good principle in the 5th verse. Pay attention to it. So we have understood action cannot be avoided, cannot be avoided. Right. Now look at the 5th verse. For none stands even for a moment not doing work. Everyone is made to do action helplessly by the modes born of Prakriti. Here is a right turn. If the right turn is good. The master is asking, come on, use your intellect. Take a right turn. What is that right turn? Pay attention. What he says? He says, Nahi kaschit chanam apijatu tishtati akarmakrat. For even a single moment, I cannot live without action. First thing is clear. We all are clear. The second line is very important. Karyate hi avishah karma sarvah prakrati jai gunahi. What is saying? That we are forced to act. We are helplessly acting every moment. How? By Prakriti. What is Prakriti? The nature. What is nature? It is made up of three gunas: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Prakriti by nature is a movement. Movement is caused by Sato, Raju, and Tamo guna. That keep in mind. We will explain that Sato, Raju, and three guna. Even the atom, electron, proton, and neutron in an atom cannot stand still. It is caused by the Prakriti. Sun is moving because of Prakriti. Earth is moving because of Prakriti. Water is there because of Prakriti. So entire nature is nothing but the Prakriti. At its primordial state, it is consciousness force by Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. Are you getting it? Return again. I cannot stop action in my life. Helplessly, I am under the control of the Prakriti, the nature. I'm explaining in a different way. Come on. Nature outside? No. Nature is everything that is visible, that is known as Prakriti, plus body, mind, intellect, ego, thought. They also are integral part of Prakriti. Real self minus rest is Prakriti. Did you understand? No. Yes. How many nay? How many yea? In a Senate and in a Congress. Have you watched that? How many nay and how many yes? So what he's saying, that is the introduction principle. First thing, action cannot be avoided. It is nature that acts in us. We say body, breath, mind, ego is me and mine. But they belong to Prakriti. Why they belong to Prakriti? How they belong to Prakriti? Do you have control over the body? Can you ask the body remain healthy all the time? From today, you should not be you should not become sick. Does the body listen to you? We are helpless. Even we have a right knowledge. You are a genius. Does the famous doctor do not become sick? Come on. Part of the Prakriti. Helpless. Do you understand? I'm helpless. You are going to the gym for 2 hours. After a few years, you find you have a cancer. Are you not helpless? Understand that part. Means that body, that breath, that mind, that intellect, entire belongs to Prakriti helplessly. I am helpless. Even I claim this is my body. Tomorrow we do not know. Tomorrow we do not know what's going to happen. I have a friend who came to me who ate a lot of Indian samosas day before yesterday. The next day he came with a big bottle of medicine. I said, what happened? Now ask yourself, did he eat samosa or that food to create illness? If he knows that he could be sick, he should have never eaten. Are you getting it? I'm explaining. This is important. Karyati hi avishah. Karma sarvah prakrati je. It is helplessly happening in the body, mind, intellect, and ego. I am forced to act. But if I add the wisdom there, life will change. If I add the wisdom. But if I add opposite of wisdom, the ignorance, oh, they are so beautiful. People are attending my session, so let me dye my hairs. I should look smart and wrong notion. We create these wrong notions. But helplessly, I prove myself wrong when you ask me how long you have been teaching. 40 years. So 40 plus another 18, 20, or he might be around 60 years. But he looks smart. I have already proved myself false. When we do not have a right knowledge and you practice meditation, we always like to sit in meditation as a fancy and fantasy. We sit with the joy. We end up with the frustration. Never do it. Most people begin with the joy and end with the frustration and failure. Actionless is not doing any action, but doing action with no desire and no attachment is being actionless. I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer. I am not seeking the fruits of an action. Let me perform an action. Finished. That is another meaning of living in the present moment. Let us go a little deeper. We are compelled to act by Prakriti. That is clear. We are helplessly clear. Take another example. You are sitting in meditation. Do you sit in meditation to have an influx of thoughts, to think of the past, but still the thought enters? Why the thought enters? You become helpless. So we have obstacle. We have to use the knowledge to remove those obstacles and distractions. They come. If you can tell your mind from today, I don't want that any thought should enter into you. Will the mind listen to you? I'm helpless. Why I'm helpless? Because it is a part of the Prakriti. It is the entire part of the manifest universe. How the manifest universe come about? From the Prakriti. What is Prakriti? It is consciousness force. There is a real self, that is consciousness, and the force of that consciousness is the consciousness force. You are John, but you have a power of John. Power of speech, power of expression, power of being a teacher. Do you understand that? They cannot be separated. Well, you say, no, I have a lot of control over my actions. Thank you very much. You have a control. Tell me, can you sleep 24 hours? Do you agree that the sleep gives you peace, freshness, calmness? Do you agree? Deep sleep, I'm talking about, sound sleep. Not sleep with the sound, but literally sound sleep. Does it give you peace, happiness? Right? Why you want to wake up then? Sleep for 24 hours. Remain in peace and happiness. Can you do that? Not possible. Why? I'm helpless. Can I recognize that? Helpless because Prakriti is there with me. That Prakriti I have to understand, have a right knowledge so that I can regulate all my actions. Here is a take. What prompts you to wake up from the sleep? That is the secret of Karma Yoga. You see the way these masters have thought of it. And do you? Huh? The moment you appreciate these teachings of the master, you say, "No, I want to know the ultimate of it. Don't want to leave." Answer me a simple question. Sound sleep, deep sleep. You are in peace, happiness, calm. Do you agree? Yes. What prompts you to wake up, to live again with the problems, with the honey, with the world, with the society? The same stuff comes up again. Who? The answer is Vasana. Vasana is the seed of all the desires. That prompts you to wake up. Now, see, when you start living your life with that perspective, the life undergoes a tremendous change. Vasana, seed impressions, impressions that contains an element of pain, pleasure, likes, dislikes, victory, defeat. I gave you an example of that couple who could not sleep for a couple of days. Then they approached me. They said, "What should we do? We did something wrong." So, what prompted them to not to go to sleep? How to exhaust these vasanas? So, answer is we wake up every day to exhaust these vasanas completely in a waking state. These vasanas, these impressions, can only be exhausted in a waking state. It cannot be exhausted in sleep state. Yoga is a conscious journey. Yoga is not an unconscious habitual journey. Are you getting it? Not very deep, but once you pick up and understand what to do when we are compelled to act, what should we do? Did you understand? This sutra, I cannot control all my actions. These actions are coming helplessly in my life from the Prakriti. Now, the next question comes, what prompts me to wake up? Why shouldn't I continue to live in peace and happiness? Live in sleep? I have to. What prompts me? Vasana, seed impressions. What are these impressions? Of pain and pleasure, cause and effect relationship. So I have to exhaust all the karma, to bypass the law of karma, to live into that state of awakening in peace and happiness. Just are you are simply listening to me or you are understanding also? You should understand also. You have to think in that way. My master used to say that you will not find what I teach in the books. I will teach you beyond the books. That is the role of a teacher in the Eastern wisdom. Otherwise, anyone can teach. Einstein can teach yoga. But Einstein said, I still remember, but after studying Upanishads, he said, I'm expressing in my own term. He said that I'm using a rational consciousness, which is a fractional part of the entire consciousness, which is real self. I'm expressing in my own term. Can you imagine? Like a guy in Einstein. So now we have simplified our action, principles of action. The Prakriti pulls me to act. And the action should be based on the three gunas. Intellect has a choice to make a choice of sattva guna to bypass rajas and tamas guna, John. I have a choice. See, the role of knowledge has come. We have a choice by knowledge. Choose sattva guna and follow and act. So, this is just the beginning of the karma guna, law of karma, etc., etc. This is just the beginning. Let us take one more so that you have a lot of things to. Why meditation fails? I name the top verse number, title to the verse number 6. That is how we should. So if you pick up the verse and you know what the subject matter, what he says, whoa, who controls the organs of action but continues in his mind to remember and dwell upon the objects of the senses, such a man has bewildered himself with a false notion of self-discipline. What a beauty. At least from my own understanding. What a beauty. I control my action outside, but the mind is burning with those false notion of pain and pleasure, of attachment and detachment. Moodhatma. So he uses the word moodhatma. You are a hypocrite. Moodhatma, there is one meaning. Mithyachara sochate. You are a hypocrite. Hypocrite will never attain success in yoga. Simple. Are you getting it, what I'm saying? Understand again. Karma. I cannot live without action. But then the master takes a right turn. He says all actions are caused by the Prakriti, not by you. Why you unnecessarily take the burden? Why you increase your ego? Why you are looking for desire for fruits of action? Why don't you focus on the karma? So everything comes from karma. Then I gave another example, another question. Who prompts me to wake up? Vasanas. I need to exhaust all the karma. So waking up, it is a great opportunity for me to do the practice to exhaust all the karma, to bypass the law of karma. How? Prakriti has three qualities. We are going deeper. Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. Satoguna, knowledge and joy, knowledge and cheerfulness. Rajoguna, activity and duality and a conflict all the time. Tamoguna, I am opposing the right knowledge, I am opposing the real self, and I am opposing, come on. You say I am not doing, see I am doing. Their eyes are closed. Body is doing an action. How Can you show me if are you the body? No, but I'm doing an action. You always contradict yourself. You live in darkness. You live in a blame complain game. That is tamoguna. Can you see them? No. Can you understand them through your traits, behavior, and attitude? Yes. So, karma indriyani saimyah Sanyam yah aste manasa smaran. My mind is thinking that I hate Christina, but outside, how are you, Christina? Everything is good. So, no, just an example. So, this is what happens to ourselves. Why this is happening? Because Rajo and Tamo Guna is dominant. Replace it with the Sato Guna. The moment you replace it with the Sato Guna, and now you are performing an action. So, where we reach, can you point out from the 8-limbed path what needs to be done? Role of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, external yoga. So, mithyachara. So that hypocrisy should not be there in me, inside. Why? Because I have to exhaust the karma. I have to transcend the law of karma. Why I have to leave the hypocrisy? Because I want to be in peace and happiness, not for the world outside. Leave the world outside. I have nothing to do with it. I have understood. Why? What I have understood, this is the work of the Prakriti. So now I am doing an action inside with the knowledge of the Sato Guna. I made a right choice. I'm loosening the knot of karma. When I'm loosening the knot of the karma, the life will become in peace and happiness here and now, not tomorrow. So now see the path of the knowledge is inside, intellect is sitting in the real self. From the real self, it looks at the Prakriti. Now, this Prakriti is body, mind, intellect, thoughts, feeling. The thought is that someone is crazy. The real intellect is sitting in the real self. It picks up the Satoguna. What I have to do if one is crazy or not, let me leave it. You have loosens the knot here and now. Now, questions. Digest at least 6 verses first, 5 verses. Digest and assimilate so that we can understand next time. That verse I labeled as what is the approach of a seeker who succeeds. I like the gesture of John, who is always in contemplative mood. That's really good. I love him. Yes. So tell me what is